So, in the word, in the scriptures, it says that you must be born again of the Father. All. There's not one that this exclude, right? And I know a lot of people don't believe it, but all who are born of the woman, everybody is, must be born of the Father. It's a spiritual battle. And that you would never, ever, ever, no way, no how, no matter what you gain physically, money, people, places, and things, you would never be inwardly free. You will never have freedom inwardly until you're born again of the Father. There's no way around it. There's nothing that can save you from that but being born of the Spirit of the Father. So you must overcome mama. You must overcome her, men and women, boys and girls. If you don't, you will suffer in hell while walking the earth for the rest of your life. You will not have peace. You're not going to get it anyway. It ain't going to happen. Being famous, so-called famous, being wonderful, so-called wonderful, being poor, being rich, being black or white or Asian or Mexican or Chinese or Japanese or being of whatever religion you call yourself the Black Israelite mess or Allahu Abba or whatever religion, Jewish religion, Christian religion. You could be a religion no matter what you call it, voodoo, the angry. Now we have a religion called anger in America. You would never, ever, ever have inner peace, freedom, until you are born of the Spirit of the Father. It's just the way it is. And there's, whether you like it or not, accept it or not, admit it or not, nothing else is going to work. And that's why this year I've been encouraging you and still encouraging you to work on you. You got to work on yourself. And it's not enough to just read the Bible or go to church or go down to the front of the church and accept Jesus, now you're saved. That doesn't work. It ain't going to work. You've been lied to. And you know it because you still have fear. You have conflict. You have anger. You have suicidal thoughts. As I said the other day, there is no reason at all, except you're worshiping the devil, that you should be committed suicide. It doesn't even make sense. When you really think about it, it's not you convincing you that you need to take your life. But because you have not been born again of the Spirit of the Father, you believe it's you and you believe life is not worth living. Because you are worshiping the devil. You love evil. And one of the reasons, well, the primary reason, is that you must be born of the Father because the nature of the mother is evil. And it's not her nature. It's an abnormal nature that made a home in her. Her nature is that of the devil. And it's evil. And when you come through that, you take on that nature. When you come through the mother, born through her. And a lot of people think, oh, your mother brought you in the world and mama didn't take you out. That's true. She'll take you out unless you overcome her. That's true. The spirit of the woman is pure evil. There's no love in it at all. And yet, the world, the country, work overtime to convince you that mama's love is so special. It's special, all right, but in the wrong way. In the wrong way. It's evil. The God below it's the woman's God, and the God above is the man's God. And the man has to bring, but he should be, he's the light of the world, salt of the earth, and he bring the woman into his world, which is of God. But because he has not overcome mama's spirit, he just bring the woman into his hell or go into hers, and the fight continues. And the children, the next generation, screwed up. What a sad way to live. And another thing, I counsel with a lot of men and women, and one of the things I've noticed of late is that men are marrying these women, and they're not taking the woman away from her folks, her mama and her folks. They move down the road right from them, right next to them and all that. You're supposed, if you're going to get married and start a family, if you don't want children, there's no reason to be married anyway. But let's say you want to get married and start a family, you need to take your wife way away from her family and yours. Go away and start a life. Otherwise, her family will destroy your marriage. And your family will destroy your marriage because your mama will be all in your business. And she'll make sure that it doesn't work. You're supposed to take her away from her family. And find out before you marry her if she's willing to follow you. If she's not, don't marry her. And if she lies and said, because they will lie, if she lies and say, oh yeah, I'll follow you, we can move away from mama. And then you get married and she said, oh, I want to stay near my mama. You leave her right away. Get an annulment right away. That way she can't take your stuff. You haven't been married long enough. You got to stop putting up with it, guys. You're not going to make it by putting up with the evil spirit of the female. Men are suffering because they didn't understand or don't understand, and then they make children with these women. And it's harder to leave when you make children. I know men who will not leave because now I need to be with my children. But she's destroying your children anyway, and you. And the way to overcome that is that you have to overcome the world. There should not be anyone or anything that's so important to you that you're unwilling to let it go. And rather than splitting the baby in half, let her have the baby. You move on because that's what she will control you with. Whatever's important to you is what she will use against you. That's why you shouldn't even tell a woman your weakness. Don't tell your mama, don't tell your sister, don't tell your girlfriend, fiance, wife, or any counsel female your issues. The spirit of the woman is evil. And it started with Eve when she gave in to Satan, and Satan became her God. And that's going on today. But thank God, he sent his son, and everything has been restored so the woman can overcome it as well as the man, right? They can be born of the father, but they got to forgive their mothers and grandmothers or whomever in control. You do not understand the wicked nature of a woman. You see it, but you don't understand what you see. You don't know how to deal with it. And you're not going to know until you forgive mama so that God can forgive you and take that spirit away from you and give you a clear mind. It will take away all fears and all that, and you will operate with perfect love. But you must be born of the Father. I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times over the last 30 years or so that it starts in the home. And it starts with mama, grandmama, whomever in charge, or both. It has nothing to do with the outer. It's in the home and it's in you. And that's why it's so crazy. It's insane. It's blindness. When you see people running around crying racism, it's racism this and racist that. That's a lie. It's a total lie. It's the hatred of mama. It's the anger toward mama. And you're blind and don't know it. A mama's love is not special. I saw a bunch of, on some of the local news especially, where guys line up buying expensive dozens of flowers yesterday. And just a weak and pathetic looking, trying to go home and please mama, the wife or the girlfriend or the mama. And they look ridiculous. They look totally ridiculous, weak. Worshiping their God. Inside of them, which is of the devil, and outside of them, inside of mama, which is of the devil. You got to be born again, men and women, if you want to be free. It ain't going to happen in this other way because it's spiritual. You must forgive before you enter into the kingdom of heaven. You must forgive. And it starts with mama. Mama is the hidden secret in the family that causes all other problems of the spirit. And dad is too weak to stand between her and you to protect you as a kid because he's married to mama or made a baby with mama. It's the same spirit inside the woman he's dating. What a mess, right? But fret not. You can overcome it, but you must be willing to stand alone. You got to go at this alone and you will see that God is with you. But if you got to have the crowd with you, somebody got to be there. You're not going to make it. It ain't going to happen. You cannot rely on anyone or anything to save you spiritually, to use the word save, to cause you to overcome spiritually. It's not out there at all. And the sad thing about it, if there is a sad thing to it, that it's going to get worse instead of better because everywhere you look now, women, you have allowed the women to take over. You think home life was bad growing up? You haven't seen anything yet. It's not in the woman's mindset. It's not in her nature to make decisions and to lead. When men are weak, women go out of control because they don't have a light to guide them. It's a spiritual thing. And ladies, you don't need to wait for the man. You can forgive. Forgive your mama because she's recreated you her image. That's why you act like her. You're insecure as she is. You try to control in the same manner that she controlled you. You try to control your children, your boyfriend, your life, and it's not working. So ladies, you can forgive too. And I know women that are doing it. So it is happening slowly but surely. It starts in the home and it starts with mama. And some of the worst ones are the ones that know the Bible. They've been saved by God, by Jesus. They turn their life over to Jesus. Those are the ones that really drive you up the wall because they have no love. They have not been born of God. They just read about him and turned their life over to the reading. But their hearts are still wicked. You must be born of the heart. Change the heart, you can change the world. You can change your life. You can wake up. It starts in the homes, and it starts with mama. All mamas. Never mind the color. All mama. And I have an example right here for you. On Monday, a mass shooter at Michigan State University University in East Lansing, killed 3 students and injured 5 others. That's according to the report. According to reports, the shooter, a guy by the name of Anthony Dwayne McRae, lived at his parents' house at age 43. According to this report, this man lived at home even at the age of 43. And I know men who are older than that and staying with mama. And they stand there and they hate mama. And because they hate her, they can't get away. And she's not going to let you leave. She needs your life. She's not going to let you leave. That's how wicked mama is. That's how wicked she is. She won't let you leave. In the good old days, when boys were boys and men were men, you were taught at birth that you're out of here by 18. We're going to prepare you to work and to take care of yourself. And at 18, you're out of here. Even the mothers and grandmothers during those days knew that because the fathers were in charge. The fathers were in charge. And if not all, most of the guys I knew and my family and friends and things, when they turned 18, they were gone. They did not live at home with mama. And nowadays, guys are living at home with mama from 18 all the way to 800 years old. They can't get away. They have to wait till she dies. And then they still won't get away because the spirit lingers on. Because mama's spirit has made a home in them. And now they can't function. But anyway, this guy according to the report, lived at home, lived at his parents' house at the age of 43. Guys, y'all better get away from mama. I don't care. Well, yeah, you can stay here, baby, and save money. No, you can't. Get out and get double jobs and save money if you got to save money. That's just a way of keeping you under her skirt tail and destroying you. Daily Mail. MSU killer was a mama's boy. This is from the Daily Mail. Was a mama's boy who turned evil after she died. I told you, mama's spirits dwell in you, and mama control you from the grave. Daily Mail. MSU killer was a mama's boy who turned evil after she died. Gunman quit his warehouse job to stay at home and play video games, father reveals. Watch this from CNN.
Are dead, 5 more wounded critically, after a gunman hunted students in 2 buildings at Michigan State. All of the casualties are students. The doctors trying to keep them alive, exhausted and emotional.
Cardiothoracic surgeons, neurosurgeons.
Later.
Didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
But again, the motive here remains a mystery. Police saying this morning they're not any closer to knowing why he targeted this school. What they have been doing, John, though, is that they've been talking to family members and others who know this gunman, who know the shooter. And it sounds like from their information from the families that certainly this was a troubled individual, a family member describing him as sort of secluded, kind of to himself.
So far, and there's a lot we don't know. But here, Anthony Dwayne McRae, in 2019, arrested, charged with a felony for carrying a concealed weapon. Then you hear his sister calling him isolated, his father calling him evil angry after his mother died. Why is the system still unable to connect this piece of information with this piece of information and say this man should not have a gun?
Amazing. They're talking about the dumb gun rather than the shooter. It's not the gun fault at all. Take all the guns away, evil will still dwell. So According to this report, this man turned evil after Mama died. He was already evil before Mama died. You must be born again of the Father. And listen to this. According to the New York Post, McRae's mother gave her life to Christ at an early age. Her obituary said, I gave my life to Christ and still evil, according to the report. You must be born again spiritually of the Father. There will come a day when I'll return the children to the fathers and the fathers to the children. That day is at hand. Nothing else is going to work but that. Because you are a spirit. Evil is a spirit. God is a spirit. God is of love. Satan is of evil. You are evil because you're born through the woman. You have her nature. And it's not her nature, but the devil's nature that made a home in her. Men, women, and children. Of all everybody that's born through the mother. And I don't know of anybody that's not born from the mother through her, at least come through her. You're not going to find peace within yourself. You're not going to stop being shy. You're not going to stop being afraid. You're not going to stop having suicidal thoughts. You're not going to stop identifying with the world until you're born of the Spirit of the Father. It's not the gun fault. It's not somebody else's fault. It's born through the mother. And your father not protecting you from her. A mother's love is so special, right? And the guy that did the shooting, I believe he was black. Did we show his picture? Black. You black, and look at Mama black. What the? It doesn't look, that spirit is in the boy. And she gave her life to Christ at an early age. Yeah, I bet. It's spiritual, folks. It's not physical. It's really not. And as adults, you got more pictures of him. See, he black. What the? The spirit of Mama. It's interesting, too, in that the devil hid himself inside of the woman, and then in the earth, he's so hidden in there and protected that until you overcome Mama, you're afraid to even mention it. And look how the evil spirit of the woman controlled, especially the black woman, controlled black people, the men and the women, the boys and the girl. Mama is God, because she gave her life to Christ. Yeah, which Christ? It ain't about racism, sexism, homophobism, Islamophobism, Debbie Dadism, Allah Abbaism, white supremacism, or anti-Semitism, all the ism. It's not about that, folks. It's not physical at all. It's truly and totally spiritual. You are a spirit. You're not your body. When will you wake up, and what will it take to wake up? I'm typing a note here. When will you wake up? What will it take? And men, once again, do what you want. Suffer in your hell. It's up to you. Don't marry these women if they're unwilling to follow you. If they want to live near their mama, then don't marry her. Because what they're saying, I'm staying with Mama next door or with her or down the road, so that our marriage will not work. And you're going to catch hell. 888-7753-773. A mother's love is not special at all. It's evil. There is no love in it. It's all hate. It's all control because it's of the devil.